Welcome back to take another step towards Photoshop heaven. Now the second step is to understand selections. Now we need sometimes to be able to isolate an area of an image for, say, deletion, if we want to replace, let's say, a poor sky, or if we have an adjustment that we only want to apply to a restricted part of an image. For both these we need to make a selection. Now let's look at making a direct selection. Now up here, just under the Move tool in the toolbar, we've got the Marquee tools. If I click and hold that down, we'll see we've got the rectangular and we've got the elliptical. Now the rectangular Marquee tool, it allows us to make regular selections. So if I click and I drag and I keep my finger on the mouse button, so now I can make a tall and thin selection, or I can make a nice wide selection, or I can make it square. So at the moment I've still got my finger on the mouse button. So if it's not quite in the right place, if I put my finger on the spacebar key, I can move the whole selection. It just like freezes it, but I've still got my finger on that mouse button. And then when I bring it to where I think it's right, let go of the spacebar and then let go of the mouse, and I'll then create my selection. Now while ever I've got a selection active and I've got a selection tool active, then when I click and drag I can actually move that finished selection around. A peculiarity of this is if I've got the Move tool selected, a Move tool is to do with pixels. So you'll see now I've got like a little scissor icon, and if I click and drag now, I'll actually move the pixels rather than just the selection. So I'll put that back with Control and Z, and then I can get rid of that selection. I can deselect it with Control and D. Next we've got the elliptical Marquee tool, and this is for making circles and ellipses, or is it ellipsi or ellipses? Anyway, if I click and drag, again, if I go that way it makes it long and thin, and if I take it down here it makes it tall and thin, or I can get it somewhere in the middle to be a circle. If I hold the space bar down again I can move it around, and then let go of the space bar and I can let go of the mouse to create my selection. Okay, I'll get rid of that with Control and D. Now underneath the Marquee tools there's some more direct selection tools. If I just click on that one there, it's showing me that I've got a Lasso tool, a polygonal Lasso tool and a magnetic Lasso tool. Okay, let's start with the Lasso tool. And this is just like having a pen. It's a free-form drawing tool. It's really good if you've got a pen and tablet, but for the mouse it's not so good. But I'll just show you what happens if I try and draw around something. So you start at one point, you press the mouse button down, keep it held down, and then you draw until you get round to a place where you want to come back, and you get back to the original starting point and then let go. And that creates your selection for you. As you can see, it's a pretty ratty one. It's not particularly good. But without a pen, it's not easy. It's pretty good sometimes for irregular shapes, but for regular items like this, it's not so good. Okay, I'll get rid of that. Control and D. The next one down, if I click there, I've got the polygonal Lasso tool. Now this works differently, but it's really good for straight edges because it generates straight lines, and it lays down points and then puts lines between them. So let me show you what I mean. So if I start at this point over here and I click once and then let go, so I'm now not holding the mouse button, but you can see I've now got like a piece of elastic. If I just move the mouse, I've got a piece of elastic, and if I put that over that point and click again, I get another piece of elastic, and then click again and then click down there. You can see it really is a cool straight edge tool. I can come right over here and then start coming back up this side and all I'm doing, I'm just clicking wherever something changes direction, and then back up to there and click, and I've formed my selection. Now next we've got the magnetic lasso tool. This is the third one here, and what this does, it actually tries to find edges of high contrast for you. It works pretty good most of the time, but you have to make sure that it has got high contrast, and this is not bad actually. And you don't actually draw with it as such. You click and then you encourage it to find some edges. So if I click down here and then I just go up to the edge, you'll see it's missing a little bit, but as it's finding that edge, it's laying down them points. I'm not doing that. The tool is laying down them points. If you get to a point where you want one, you just click. And then we keep going again. And as it's finding that edge, it's laying points down. And you can get quite quick even with the mouse on this. And so long as you've got a pretty good, you see it's missing a little bit there, missing a little bit, then down across the bottom, and then back up to the start again. And we've got a selection. So a little bit ratty in places, but selections are very, very rarely done in one go. You do need to refine the selection and maybe add some bits or take some bits off, but the majority of a selection, you really need to select the tool that does it, the majority of it in one go, and then refine it with some of the other tools. Okay, so that's selecting with direct selection tools. But there is another way of selecting, and that's by tone. So let's just deselect that selection, and I'll just go over to another image. And here we've got an image where, let's say I want to select this sky, or conversely I could want to select the building. But rather than draw around it with the polygonal lasso tool or one of the magnetic lasso tool, and there is a better way, and that's by using colour or tone. And the way these tools work is that when you click on a pixel, Photoshop examines the tone of the pixel, and then it selects all similar pixels around it. So you can make a pretty big selection just with one click. So let's have a look at those. So the first one we're going to look at is the Magic Wand tool. And here I'm just going to go into the image somewhere up here in the nice blue sky, and I'm going to click once. And you'll see what that's done. It's probably got a good 3/4 of this selection done for me in one click. Now this is obviously not quite the same colour as that, so it's fallen outside the selection. So I can add to selection by just making another click there, and that's got all that edge for me. I come over here, one click, missed a bit up there, click again. Then if I want to, I can go inside and I can just click on these windows because they're showing through to the sky, but they've got some nice contrast edges, so the tool works absolutely tickety-boo. Now bundled with the Magic Wand and running off the same engine is the Quick Selection tool. And if anything, this is my favourite tool. Let me just deselect that. And again, this is one that you don't actually paint, or you don't actually have to draw at an edge. You're just encouraging Photoshop by tone to find the edges. I'll show you what I mean. So if I go up here in this sky area and I just click and hold the mouse button down, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to just drag towards the building. And you'll see what happens. It's automatically found a lot of the pixels that match the pixel that I've clicked on. So now I don't have to go any further down. I can just move to the side. And as I'm moving along, you can see that it's looking for and finding pixels that are a similar tone. And all I'm doing, whoa, and then you get to one point and it goes, right, everything now matches, and so it picks me out that whole selection. That tool is awesome. And I can go inside and do the same with these windows. Just click in there and it'll fill in them little window areas that go through. Now, some tools are better suited to jobs than other tools. It's our job to figure out which will be most efficient. And in fact, it doesn't have to be one tool. You might use multiple selection tools to create a really refined and a good selection. Now, if you want to know more about creating and refining selections, look up my full course called Photoshop Fundamentals. Well, that's all for now as we stride masterfully towards Photoshop Nirvana. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it useful. For more training on Photoshop and Lightroom, look up my website, kenfisherphotography.com, or subscribe to my YouTube channel, Live Link Training. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.